Greetings, grade 11, and welcome to your fifth lesson in economics. We proceed on with our lesson on the chapter Basic Terms and Concepts. And to do a quick recapitulation, so far you have understood the meaning of an economic system, the meaning of economics, the fact that every economic system has four separate entities, that is the household, the producers, consumers, and the government. And you also learned some of the key words that describes the activities of the consumer. They were wants and utility. Our objective of the lesson today is to look at the activity of the producers. And we all know that producers produce. So the first term that we look into is the act of production. Production in economics is known as the creation of utility or the creation of goods and services. So in everyday use, we know that production is also the creation of goods and services. But in economics, we also understand that creating utility or creating the want-satisfying quality in any product is also the act of production. So let us look at this aspect a little closely. So how can you create utility? There are basically four ways. There may be more, but we look at four different ways in which a producer can create utility. One of them is known as form utility. A form utility is when you change the form in which something is found. If you know that a particular something is going to have more one-satisfying quality when you change its shape, and you do it, then you have created utility. If you've created a one-satisfying quality, you have created utility. A block of wood just by itself holds no relevance. But if you make a pencil, if you make furnitures, if you make paper out of it, you've changed the form in which this particular product has found, and you have created more utility or more one-satisfying quality from that particular product. Another way of creating a one-satisfying quality is to put your product in a more convenient place. You change the place where the product is found, and that aspect is known as place utility. We know that the business of the world depends on transportation, export, import. So what are you doing? You're creating place utility. You're changing the place where a product has been found. If a product is in abundance in one particular place and in scarcity in the other place, you can create more satisfaction by taking a product where it is in abundance to a place where it is in scarcity. Are there any other ways to create a place utility? I would leave that question to you for further discussion. Think about it and give me your response in the class when we meet. The third way of creating utility is through time. Some items may not have one satisfying power at the immediate present. But if you store it and keep it for some period of time, it may be able to create more utility. There are many things of artistic value. At one time, when they were produced, it had no value. Van Gogh painting, it sells for millions at the present. But at the time when Van Gogh painted his painting, it did not have any value. There was no one satisfying quality. So you store something for some time, you create utility. Also, you may have seen that some out of season things. Like, for example, if you store something in a cold refrigerator or a cold storage system and you supply it at a time when the product is in shortage, you have created a time utility. I would again ask you the same question. Are there any other ways of creating time utility? Another way of creating utility is by providing a service. Some items will have more value once you know, if someone explains to you what this particular product will do. So normally you know that salespeople are able to create value in a product. They are able to create more satisfying quality in a product when they give better service. So there are aspects of after sales service. So some products given with after sales service give more value. There is also this famous quote by people who say that what's the difference between the tea that you have in a roadside stall and in a 5-star hotel? They are the same. It's the same stuff. But yet, you need to understand, for a student of economics, that in a 5-star hotel, the tea is given with more service. That's why it is charged more, because it has more satisfying quality when a service is associated with the product. Now, for production to take place, Adam Smith has categorized 4 basic items or 4 basic factors that are required for production to take place. By the way, Adam Smith is known as the father of economics. So he says that the first factor are all the free gift of nature, or everything that is taken over from nature under free cost, with no cost at all. That is one aspect that is used in production, and that name for that factor of production is called land. The second aspect and the second factor that also is utilized for production, and this is one factor which is compulsorily required, is the human effort. The mental or the physical effort of humans, not the person himself, but the effort that he puts in is known as labor. So the second factor of production is known as labor. The third factor of production is known as capital, which is all the man-made things that are used in the production process. Definitely you can make a chair or a table with your free hand, but then if you have tools, you do better. What are tools? Tools are man-made things that make your production much easier. So therefore, every production process also requires man-made items like factory buildings, machinery, tools, implements, calculators, computers. All of these are man-made and is required in the production process. These things are known as capital. And the fourth aspect is that special labor, which is responsible for putting all of it together. The one who organizes, one who has the idea that I have to produce this. So this particular factor of production is known as enterprise. So what does enterprise do? They take the risk of production. It may work out, it may not work out, it may get sold, it may not get sold, you may earn a profit or you may earn a loss. So that risk of production is taken by the enterprise. They also take the responsibility of organizing the land, labor and capital, put them together, pay them, distribute the goods and services. So that aspect is known as enterprise. And land, for its effort, receives rent. In economics, the reward for land is known as rent. For labor, the reward for labor is known as wages. And the reward for capital is known as interest. And the reward for an entrepreneur or an enterprise is known as profit. So in economics, all income has 4 categories. rent for land, wages for labor, interest for capital, and profit for entrepreneurs. So therefore, we end our 5th lesson today. I would request you to revise your work, look at your text, the scanned copy of your text, go over it, and complete the assignments that have been given to you. So until we meet again, thank you and take care.